Okay, hello everybody. This is Pastor David in part 5 of Are You Enabling Your Teens' Bad Behavior? For this segment, I want to talk about identity. It's such an important thing, especially with Gen Z, which is where most of your kids are. And I'm going to start off by saying do not slam or talk negatively or say bad things about the things that they like just because you don't like them or you don't understand them. This is something that I had to deal with myself, especially with my first son. We just had a lot of different likes and different hobbies and interests and stuff. And instead of just allowing him to enjoy the things that he liked and me enjoy the things that I liked, I would catch myself saying something negative about what he liked because I didn't understand it or I didn't particularly like it. And we have to be careful when we do that, or try very hard not to do that, because oftentimes as teenagers, their identity is wrapped up in the things that they do and the things that they like. And so nobody likes to get punched in the face, right? Nobody likes to get punched in the face. Well, why is that? That's because our face is our identity, and that's a no-go zone, okay? Nobody wants to get hit in the face. So when you have a teenager whose identity is wrapped up in a sport or in an activity or in a social media platform or in a Snapchat application or something like that, and we have absolutely nothing positive to say about that, it begins to take on a feeling like you don't like me. And so because their identity is wrapped up in that, okay? So you need to understand that. Teenagers, until they, when they're still teenagers, their identity is in things that it shouldn't really be in. Ultimately, we want their identity to be in God, and that's what we teach and that's what we preach. But it takes some spiritual maturity for a teenager to get there. Okay, so until they get there and they begin to understand whose they are instead of who they are, their identity is wrapped up in the things that they participate in, the things that they love, the things that they do, and their friends and stuff like that. So even with their friends, we have to be real careful about saying something horrible about one of their friends, even if their friend is horrible, to be honest with you. Because their identity may be connected to that individual, and then they may begin to think that that's how you feel about them. Okay, so we have to be careful about understanding where their identity is. Oftentimes in today's world, teenagers identify and have their identity wrapped up in their phone. So I'm going to talk about phones right now. Phone use to a teen is an extension of their culture, especially if they're Generation Z, which most of them are. Because it's an extension of their culture, it is consequently an extension of their identity. So in fact, many teens have their entire identity wrapped up in their phone, in their friends, and in their social media. When we take a swipe, especially a negative swipe, at those things, it's just like punching them in their face. Because it's who they identify and it is who they identify and how they identify themselves. So be careful when we're doing that. Let's talk about 25 years ago. Okay. At that time, we watched our TV shows on TV, and we communicated on a phone with a wire, and we did our homework with a school book and a spiral back notebook, or maybe a workbook. We played video games either at an arcade, or if we had one, a video game console at home. And we wrote our messages to friends on usually a piece of paper using a pen. Okay. Now, nobody accused us of being addicted to any of those things. Maybe the video console or arcade, but not nearly as much as we jump to that conclusion today, because we were doing those things at different times with different devices, single purpose devices. Okay. Donkey Kong and Pac-Man and Centipede and Stargate and Sinistar and all those cool video games that we used to play, they were single-purpose devices. You walked up, you put a quarter in it, and you played Centipede. You walked up, you put a quarter in it, and you played Pac-Man. That machine didn't do anything else but play that game, okay? Like a radio. A radio doesn't do anything else but play songs and listen to radio stations. That's all it does. Okay, now we've enabled them, we've given them a device that allows them to do all of those things and a whole lot more on a little computer with a screen on it that they can put in their pocket. Okay, so naturally they're going to be on that phone a lot, okay, because they're doing their homework, they're watching their TV shows, they're listening to their radio, listening to their music, they're playing their video games, and they're writing their messages, and they're doing distance learning and all that stuff on that one device. And so it looks like they're addicted to it because they always have to be on it. They have to be on it in order to do the exact same thing that we were doing, but we were having to go different places and get on different devices in order to do it. They can do it all on one device. So it appears that they're spending too much time on it and that they're addicted to it. And in fact, they may be. I'm not saying that they're not. I'm just saying we have to understand what's going on here. They have a device in their pocket that's being used for everything. Every single thing that they have to do is designed now to be done on a mobile device. So we have to take that into consideration when we're slamming them for their phone use. Okay, that's important. That we don't want them to associate and have an identity crisis because they think that we don't love them or we don't like them because we're always yelling at them or saying bad things about what they're doing. And this world is set up now to where that's how it works. Everything works on a mobile device. So let's move on here. I don't want to sell short the idea that your teen could be addicted to their phone. Okay, they may be. And you have to be aware of that, but you have to be aware of what they're doing on the phone. You're going to have to invest some time and say, how much of that's social media time? How much of that is distance learning time? How much of that is you're just chilling out, listening to music time? How much of that is you're actually, chatting with people that you don't know? Those are things that you need to understand about how your kid is using their phone way before you jump to conclusions and start slamming them for using something that is their generation's, pager. Okay? That's just how it is. I'm sorry that it's that way, but that is how it is. That's how they're expected to interact with the world now, is on their mobile device. So, instead, I would encourage you to get involved on their level. Find a game that you like and they like, and you guys can play it together. They may not like it if you have an Instagram account or a Facebook account, but you might want to get one. Just so that you know what's going on, and you're a part of their feed, and you can see what people are posting on their page. And I would encourage you to try to find out if they have multiple accounts. And you're the one that's buying them the phone, more than likely. You're the one that's paying for the plan, more than likely. And so you should have access to their account. That means usernames and passwords. And I don't see a problem with that at all. And if you find out that they have a hidden account, that should be grounds for some kind of consequences. So when it comes to consequences, you want to be more creative than just taking away their phone. Let the punishment fit the crime. We talked about some of that in part 4, and having a couple of lists. You've got the freebie list and you've got the non-freebie list, okay? If you need help getting creative with consequences, go back to part 4 and look at those freebies and those non-freebies, and take something away from the non-freebie list, or give them an added chore or something like that. But it doesn't always have to be take the phone away. A lot of times we take the phone away just because it's convenient for us and we know it's going to hurt a lot when we do, but we're actually, the punishment's not fitting the crime. Invading their privacy a little bit. Believe it or not, they may throw a fit, but believe it or not, they're going to appreciate the fact that you care enough to check up on them. My kids willingly hand me their phones at any time. If I just look over their shoulder, sometimes they'll just hand the phone up to me and let me scroll through it for a little bit and give it right back, because they know that I'm looking, they know that I'm watching, they know that I'm interested in what it is that they're doing on the phone. And it's expected because I'm consistent with it, and they don't throw a fit. They don't ask me, well, what did I do? How come I'm getting punished? Well, they know they're not getting punished, and it's not because they did anything. It's because I care and I want to see what they're looking at on their screen. So if you're consistent enough, then they don't freak out when you say, hey, let me take a look at that. Look for opportunities to use natural consequences. I'm kind of going back, I think, to part 2 or part 3 here, but instead of taking away their phone, look for some natural consequences if they're messing up. Those are always the best teaching experiences anyway. So definitely look for that. Remember, their identity is wrapped up in the things that they're investing their time in, okay? So if they're investing their time in their phone and in their social media and in their friend group, then be very slow to speak negatively about those things, because they're going to take it personally, and they're going to think that because you don't like the things that they like, that you don't like them. And then because they're a teenager, they're going to exaggerate that, and then they're going to think, well, not only do they not like me, they don't love me. And that's not true. But that's the way the teenage mind is going to think about it. And then when they think that you don't like them and you don't love them, then they're going to go looking elsewhere for people to like and to love them, and that's usually doesn't end up in a good result. So be aware of where their identity is, and instead of slamming it, try to participate in some way in it. Even if they resist a little bit, try to participate in it. Let them know that you care. Let them know that you love them and you like them, and part of that is taking time to participate in the things that they like and the things that they love. That's going to wrap up part 5 for me today on Are You Enabling Your Teens' Bad Behavior? Hit the like button, give me some comments, give me some feedback. Let me know if any of this is helping you guys out. I appreciate the feedback, whether it's good, whether it's bad, don't care. Just need the feedback to know what direction to take it. I'll probably do part 6 later on this week. God bless. See you later.